Okay. I don't know where to begin.
I don't know where to begin either.
That's great. Welcome to the Dice and Pixels podcast. I know where to begin. I know exactly where to begin. Okay, language warning. Big motherfucking language warning because the next however long...
Oh, do you think?
Yeah.
No. Are we recording now?
Yeah.
Is this part of the podcast?
Hell yes.
Great, cool.
Okay, cool. Welcome to the first episode of Dice and Pixels podcast. I am Cuball.
And I am Puck.
Awesome. Starting off, we're going to give a little bit of an introduction about who we are, what we do, and why we're doing what we're doing. My company, Vocal Horde, supplies vocal talent for video games developers to support indie gamers. And Puck, over to you for what you do, because I don't really know what you do.
No, my group is Dutch Potato Gaming. So we basically run games, mostly Dungeons and Dragons, all around Brisbane. We've got some games going down on Melbourne, and we're expanding all the time. So
Going down on Melbourne.
We're going down on Melbourne.
Yeah.
We've got about 150 people a month currently who sit down with us. So we get, that's growing every day. So we've got an event coming up this weekend. We've got another one next week. We run games every single week.
And I believe from your rantings before, you have one ticket left.
We have one ticket left at the moment.
Awesome.
There's a new storyline coming out from D&D called Storm King's Thunder. So we're running a nice launch event. We have one ticket left, which is great.
If it sells.
If it sells.
And if more sell, then you're not so great.
No, we had to put a limit on it. So
Fantastic. Okay, well, the entire idea of this show is to talk about stuff that's going on in gaming around Brisbane, Queensland, and Australia to a lesser but sort of degree. Still around that area. Help to promote indie game developers. And over the next few weeks, we're going to have different guests in from different development companies, different key figures in the market, variety of different special guests across all kinds of things. We've got tabletop game creators, we've got indie game, PC game, PS4 game, all kinds of stuff coming in. We've got a guy that's going to come and have a bit of a chat about retro gaming, all kinds of stuff across the board. So,
and of course we've got our fingers all throughout the industry with all the different things that we're doing as well. So that's always fun. It's always fun.
Lots and lots of fun. Now, to start off with, just to kick things off, how's your peppermint tea over there?
I love peppermint tea.
I hate you. I hate you. That's foul.
I only discovered this. I only discovered this a month ago. I wish I've been drinking this my whole life. It is great.
I wish I wasn't here right now. The wafting odor of peppermint is just...
I'm trying to find a way to combine peppermint tea with coffee. I haven't been brave enough just to mix tea bag in with coffee yet, but maybe that's this weekend.
So filling in next week for Puck after he dies will be, I don't know,
refreshing and energetic.
So, yeah, well, some of the stuff we've been talking about, you've been talking about that event that you've been running there this week.
Yeah, so we run sponsored events as well as regular gaming events. So every Tuesday night we've got games running out of Ace Comics over at Alderley. Every Wednesday night we've got games running out of the Magic Vault that's in Alderley. Sorry, Ace Comics is in Annerley. This weekend we've got the Community Place over at Stafford have sponsored us for an event. Then next Thursday night, so the 6th of October, we've got an event running out of the Couch Dessert and Cocktail Bar.
Oh.
Event...
I told my wife about that, and she literally left the room and went, "Stop talking to me."
Yes. That sold out in 3 days. So for those who don't know, Couch is just one of the best cafes in Brisbane. It's all chocolate. So they're designing a Dungeons and Dragons themed cocktail for us. Yep, so it's D&D and diabetes. It's going to be great. Then the next big event that we've got going, we're down in PAX, of course. So end of November, we're running a handful of games down at PAX. That's part of Adventurers League. And then after that, I think we're taking a little bit of a break. And then at the end of... Sorry, that's beginning of November we're going to PAX. End of November, we've hired a house out in the middle of the rainforest down in Google.
I'm getting... I do get slight cabin in the woods vibes. This entire just like, are you going to go in there and then the two living people that emerge triumphant at the end are going to be the...
Yeah, we haven't decided what the format of it's going to be yet, but probably.
Murder and mayhem.
But we can actually take up, I think it's 36 people we're able to take down in that cabin. It's like a big corporate retreat thing. So there's that. And then I think the next event after that we've got planned, because we're going to take a little bit of a break over Christmas, just because it's been a busy couple of months. And then in January, we're running a new type of D&D event that we're calling Labyrinth of the Gods. So this is, I think, and I'm a little bit biased because I came up with the idea, but I think it's a really cool idea.
I'll actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
From what I've heard,
it's a D&D competition, but it's PvP. So the idea is that it's a custom design campaign, totally new. Everyone starts at a different entrance into this giant labyrinth map, and then you get points for achieving certain objectives, killing other players. We run it for the whole day. At the end, one team has a certain number of points, and we're going to have some good prizes going on. We've got a handful of sponsors who want to get involved, so I'm really looking forward to running that event.
Awesome.
That's going to be huge.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. Now, I was going to do a gaming news segment, just about what's going on, but I do also want to try and keep the focus of the podcast around the indie gaming thing, and most of gaming news happens around the larger providers because no one reports on indie gamers. Is the idea of the podcast. So,
Until now, there
you go. That's exactly it. But there are a couple of things. One of them I wanted to bring up, only because I was reading last night a little bit of additional news that happened this week, and the thing, I know it's been talked about to death, and I know everyone on the internet has had a go at this.
You're going to talk about No Man's Sky.
I am going to talk about No Man's Sky. I'm going to talk about the game that is. Okay, I want to clarify to anyone listening. Hi, all three of you. I actually did like this game.
Just before we go into this, did we do a language warning yet?
We did a language warning.
Okay,
There's going to be this super language warning.
It's
additional.
It's mostly dicks.
Emotional damage.
Yeah.
All through this area.
No Man's Sky is just a game of dongs.
I was on a planet and I found an enormous dick-shaped thing made entirely of gold, and I mined it, and then I kind of felt a bit weird and went away from the PlayStation for a while. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of bring up about this game. Okay, yeah, I did like it. I think it is limited. I think, there's a lot of misrepresentation that's going around it. And the reason that it kind of jogs my memory is apparently it's essentially the UK version of the ACA has started hitting into them because they've been reported for essentially misleading advertisements, and people have started comparing trailers to actual gameplay, some showing flowing water, gameplay doesn't, stuff like that, and they're hitting them and doing a whole bunch of horrible, horrible things too.
The thing about No Man's Sky is that it's the same thing over and over. That's the thing. You go to a planet and you've got got an outpost. You've got dicks.
You've got the same outpost copied like 1,000 times.
Yeah, the same outpost. Maybe you have one of those abandoned ones, especially the annoying ones that are underwater, of course, and you can't land on water. So you have to walk there for 10 minutes to get to it to discover that you already have the technology that you discovered there, even though your little HUD told you, there's undiscovered new technology. No, there's not. It's the same technology.
It's the same shit that you get everywhere else.
And then, of course, you got the space station, which I'm so disappointed that all those space stations are identical. That's so disappointing.
Well, no, the big Death Star thing isn't exactly. Have you been to that? The big round pool 8-ball thing floating in space.
Yeah,
with the three guys.
Yeah,
you go in there. You got the.
But they're all the same too.
You've got the opportunity to choose between three completely useless pieces of technology to aid you on your journey.
Well, see, I thought I was really lucky when I first found that, because they get them all the time. Yeah. So they're all the same as well. And nothing will frustrate you more when you realise that there's a cabinet on your right as you walk in, that if you open that, it expands your multi-tool out.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You told me that later. And
I found about the fifth one in of those was when I discovered.
God damn it! Yeah.
But see, I because it saves, of course, when you first dock. So when you go in and you get a useless piece of shit technology, you reset back, of course, and reload, and then it goes in and gives you another useless piece of shit technology.
It's great.
And then you reset again and go for an option number 3, and they show you where a black hole is, which then takes you half an hour to actually get to, which is fine. And I don't want to do a spoiler here, but that is also useless when you find out what happens at the end of the game.
Yeah. Which you YouTubed to your...
Oh, I YouTubed it.
rather than playing through the entire game.
My immediate reaction was, you've got to be kidding me. But then when you take a step back and you read some of the interviews from the developers, you can kind of see where they were going with it. And yeah, okay, that's a cool idea. But it's kind of akin, I think, to, you know, in movies when it's all a dream at the end. That's what it kind of made me think of.
Yeah. I will play this game eventually. I actually stopped playing because I didn't want to play the game anymore. The more stuff I read and the more points people made that were very reasonable, logical things about why the game wasn't that good, I started going, yeah, you got a point, I'm going to stop playing. Because if I keep playing, I'm going to realize everything is 100% true and I'll never go back to it. And I do know there are apparently, air quotes, huge ones, working in the ability to build buildings and all kinds of other...
Yeah, but why? The whole point of the game is to keep moving.
Yeah, I know. So,
and in fact,
so you can build a building, you spend time on it, then you can just leave and never find it again, ever.
But see, if even if you could do things like, I don't know, successfully attack someone in space... But if you,
I like the word successfully.
Oh, if you fire on a single ship, God help you. The little counter down the bottom suddenly comes up 39 ships are attacking you. Where from? There was one here before.
That's what I mean. Giant space battles. There are none unless you initiate those giant space battles. But then it's not a battle. They're just basically murdering you.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because it's you versus 40 other people.
Which is kind of like every experience I had in EVE Online, except there's no people.
Yeah, well, EVE Online's like crack. Everyone I know who has played EVE Online has just
had addiction issues.
Yeah.
Shout out to I'm not going to mention his name. There's a guy I know that will be listening to this, and he is very well aware of the effects of waking me up when he's living with me at like 4 a.m. for everyone to go ape shit about something they've found on
I'll laugh if his name's Martin because my guy is also named Martin.
That's fantastic.
Martin, you know who you are.
Yeah, well,
get help, man.
maybe it just afflicts people called Martin. Yeah. Perhaps. We'll stop picking on them now. Now, to get back on the rails, now one of the things that we had up for this week is we looked at and we reviewed the early, I'm going to call it early access, even though it's only technically, I think, pre-release or something. And there was an update coming out tomorrow or something, so we may have missed an entire chunk of gameplay, which is the...
Where would they possibly put it?
The early access game niche on Steam. Now, the genre of this game, to explain it to our listeners, it is...
This should be good.
It's Civilization Spore as a...
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a turn-based...
Not Civilization.
It's turn-based. Okay, in terms... When I say Civilization...
Turn-based...
There are hexagon shapes on the map.
There are hexagon shapes.
So...
yeah. Do you remember that game... I can't even remember what it was. I think it might be like similar age, like Mahjong, like, you know, been around for like thousands of years. And you jump from... Oh, I know. It's the orange guy with the big nose. And he jumps from square to square and it changes colour.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
It's an old, like I think an old Atari game or something.
Wow.
It's that game, but weirder.
With sex.
It's nothing but sex.
Yeah, well, the way to...
Okay, maybe we should back
get
up
your
and just
civilization.
explain
Okay, we'll
this
explain
game.
what we're talking about. Okay, basically it's a game where you have a race of these little kind of cat, dog, meerkat, weird creature things.
That made me think of hyenas.
Yeah. Now, on first going into this game, you're because it is early access, you're left with basically no idea what to do, and there's a question mark on the right hand side. You can click, and it goes, "Oh, I can do this. These are the things you click. This
See, I didn't see that until you told me to click it.
Yeah, exactly. So you, like, right out of the gate, you were fucked.
Yeah, I played it for like an hour. I just said, this is a ridiculous game.
So, I'm trying to be objective here. Stop it.
Oh, okay. I'll be objective too. It's objectively a weird game.
It's strange. It's definitely not like anything else I've played. Now, the premise behind it is you have these little creatures, and the idea is to breed them and try and breed them together to create better genetic results and urge their genetic evolution behind, you know, better survivability, better gathering ability, stuff like that. And it's turn-based, so you move one square at a time, and there are various enemies you find, other things like that, as you go. Now...
But see, the most important facet about the game is when you move the mouse, the little heads on the creature follow the mouse.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have... Okay, I did spend a good 2 minutes at the beginning going, oh my God, it's moving. I called my daughter over and said, look, I'm moving the mouse. Look at the thing. And she's like, what's wrong with you, Dad?
Yeah, no, I spent a good 10 minutes and then my wife walked in and went, what are you playing? What the hell? They follow the mouse. And then spent a good another 5 minutes of her playing with it, making their heads go all over the place.
Well, there you go. So that's cool. Now, as you go through, you have to gather from bushes which respawn, and half of them are spiky and they hurt you. So the idea is, as your creatures get older, they have a limited lifespan. They get to a certain amount of moves and they just die. Now, when you take damage, that brings from the end of your life meter, it essentially brings it down. So you've got less my vocabulary is failing me today. You live long, lessness. There you go.
It's kind of like a look. It's a survival game.
Yeah, it is. Because it's purely survival. That's what it is.
If you don't have your creatures eat and you don't have your creatures shag, if you get too far from your nest, then they stop having babies. Yeah, that's the weird thing too. They're like these.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they only have babies when you're in the nest.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that you can only have babies inside the nest.
But if you've moved them too far away and you don't find another nest, well, then they die from that as well. So
that one I was not aware of.
So you kind of have to keep your breeding stock.
The whole idea about it is purely survival. It's taking turns, and then you'll eventually die, and then you start again.
Yeah, and of course you've got I think is it three turns each. Each one will survive.
Yeah, each one of them gets 3 turns each,
which is not a long time
each day.
When you consider that they can move maybe 5 squares.
Depending on what you breed into them. If you breed them up enough, you can actually get about 10 or 15 squares. It's decent. My first experiences were this death. Immediate death. And I was like, why am I just dying? Everything's dying all the time. Until I started breeding everything all of the time.
Yeah.
But now, it's an innovative concept. I think I don't know what they are, but I think they've got an idea there that can be molded into something that is quite good, but I think it's in its early days. The game is most definitely, it's very creative, it's very inventive, and it's very cleverly put together.
It's also very pretty.
Oh, yeah, it's really good looking. It's a gorgeous game. It's one of those ones you can kind of sit there and go, oh, look at the water, the trees, there's bunnies, until you kill them. Yeah. Because I killed so many bunnies.
Oh my God, bunnies are such
I felt bad.
Such a good source of food, though.
But when they first die, you get this little, and I was like, oh, I feel really bad.
Okay,
and then
I have
later, 300 bunnies later, everything's dead.
I have a weird fact about that. Okay, so if you have a look at the developers and have a look at the development team behind it, there aren't many. There's like eight people. Are
you going to say they're bunnies? Because it's going to be quite...
No. There's someone whose job on this game was a voice actor. And it took me a while because I was reading up about their history and all their careers. And they're all very artsy kind of people. And the other games that they make are very unusual, put it that way. They have a voice actor who is, I think she's Swiss. It took me a while to work out there's no voices in this game. How do they have a voice? And then I realized it's the bunnies going, oh.
Yeah, and the creatures make the same noise. So it was just her.
Yeah, it was just her.
It's just her going, oh.
Yeah, that's obviously what they had a voice actor come in and record.
I also have to say the game's possibly got the... No, it's not the strangest trailer I've ever seen. It's a weird trailer.
I don't think I saw the trailer.
It's a bit weird. It's a bit odd.
Well, if it's a Swiss company. All right.
Right.
Anyway, okay, so verdict on the game. It's an odd game.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you'd probably agree that it feels more like a mobile game.
It does. I think it would work. I think it might work better. I would certainly play it a lot on a mobile because it's a game that is great to... Every now and then I will find a game that is very good for when you're actually doing something else. Like you're having a cup of tea and you're sitting down and you're waiting for an email to come through, you're waiting to respond to something, you're waiting for something else to happen. It works really well, and those games work really, really well on a mobile platform because you can sit in front of a TV or sit at a coffee shop and just play them.
Or if you're waiting somewhere. Yeah.
I haven't checked out. I'm not sure if it is a mobile game. I think it would work very well as that.
Oh, it might be.
It's an okay PC game, but I think they need to put more depth.
Oh, yeah. It's not enough to it.
Yeah.
The fact that absolutely everything, it's micromanaging these little creatures, and that's fine. They almost need something to do while you're breeding the new traits in. Because the idea in the game is that you have a whole range of different traits that you can pick from. So you can pick speed or gathering or whatever, and you gradually breed them in. They also have all these question marks for extra unknown traits, but they don't really give you any guidance as to what that means. In fact, I saw one where you had to explore a certain number of squares, and then it unlocks one of the traits. But a lot of them, it doesn't even give you that guidance. So
I didn't even know that was there.
Oh, I just happened to see it. It was like, oh, you've got to unlock 30 squares of like tundra or grassland or whatever it is.
I probably didn't do that. I just blindly wandered around killing everything.
No, but that's a lot. And they also didn't explain too, is that explore the fog of war? Is it just look at different squares?
Or use the visibility. There's a visibility thing you can use on each tile that leaves it permanently visible.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it leaves it...
No, because as soon as it grows grass again on that tile, you lose the fog of war on it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so...
how did I not know that?
So in which case,
do you
go back to that square and then look at it again? Does that count as exploring another square? So maybe a little bit more guidance, perhaps. I personally found it a little bit boring.
After a while, it started to get very repetitive.
It wasn't even that.
My daughter loved it. My daughter has just not stopped playing it.
Yeah, it just didn't...
Like 3 days straight.
I just didn't find it interesting enough. Mobile game, sure, if I was watching TV and, wanted to just muck around with something on my phone, yeah, sure. And I've got a whole range of games that, are like that. They're very simple concepts that I can just do and relax at night. This feels like one of those games.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be just it was aimed perhaps not at the right platform.
Or they don't care. And they just want to make something that's pretty and a bit weird and a bit different.
Yeah.
And it's all of those things.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
it looks great.
I will definitely say this. I have certainly played worse games. It's not a bad game. I have a very big list of AAA games that I have played that I would equate to far further down the list than that.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I'll be interested to see. I'm going to watch it and see where it goes from a development perspective. Because it's piqued my interest, and I know there's a lot more stuff that's coming, but I'm not sure what that is.
I would actually be really interested in this development company. Like, I'd be really interested to see what they develop further. Because this, I think this was maybe their first game, possibly their second. There's another one in development that looks... they only have a couple of screenshots floating around, but it looks like some kind of space shooter.
That can be interesting.
Yeah. Kind of.
It also could be something along the lines of what you would consider like an engine test. Like if you remember the indie game, if anyone out there's played this, if you haven't played this, go and buy it immediately. Magicite.
Oh yeah.
Now, Magicite's incredible. It's one of my favorite games. It's not quite up at the Terraria level, because Terraria I lost many days and just my whole family and all my friends and everything.
Yeah, but Starbound
and my job.
Starbound's better than Terraria though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I still occasionally play Starbound.
I finished it. You should finish it.
You can finish it. Oh, of course you can. Of course you can. The
quest,
yeah. I never pay attention to it. As soon as I found out you could build an underwater base. You just
built the largest farm in the entire universe, basically, last time I saw it.
It is a big farm.
Like those games are good. And like, as I was saying before, Magicite, we derailed a bit, but Magicite was a fantastic game. I loved that game. And it was essentially used as a, not quite an engine test, but a precursor to the next game, Roguelands. Now, Roguelands is good. The issue I have with that game is the level design. Even though Magicite was quite repetitive, it didn't feel repetitive. Whereas Roguelands feels very repetitive. Every single area is essentially a square with 4 entrances on each side. It's like the old school repetitive game. Right. And it's a really in-depth game, and you can get some really cool weaponry and craft stuff, and there's all these amazing things you can do, but the level design just doesn't wow me. But that's what I feel this game niche could be. It may be a engine test for something that they have planned that's grander in future. And it is really cute. And I actually feel bad. I don't want to bag it out because the little cat things are so cute. It is awesome.
Yeah,
except the munted ones, the ones with like a tooth growing out of its eye or something.
Yeah.
And it's
or
just
the ones, or if you breed in black eyes,
then
it's creepy when they all follow your cursor.
That's fantastic. No, I just kept getting I kept finding these orange ones that looked like Milo Kerrigan after like a really bad night, and they once that's once they started breeding into them, you ended up getting generations of these people that were just like the hills animals. It was horrible.
I kept finding these weird spotted ones that look like they're 1,000 years old. And they always seem to show up for some reason when all of my male ones had just been killed by a giant bear or something. And I was like, I feel bad making like the female cat things breed with this, but I have no choice.
Well, it says that in the trailer explicitly says it's like sometimes genetics you pick the best, you pick the alpha, but then sometimes you kind of get whatever's there because it's the only option. But so yeah, final verdict. I think I will watch this. If it comes out on mobile, I will certainly play it a lot.
Yeah, same.
And I'm interested to see where they go with it. I'm interested to see how they evolve the idea in its next iteration, because I think they will evolve the idea in a later iteration. I'm still hanging out waiting for that game that Spore was supposed to be, and it's just never come out.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, we know EA's not going to do it.
No.
Because they're useless. So anyone out there, okay, games developers, if you're listening to this, okay, what we want you to do, just write Spore and combine it with No Man's Sky, except just deliver on all of the stuff that they said.
With cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
With cats.
No munted ones, though.
No, exactly. Well, you can't, you can't limit creativity of, yeah. So that was an interesting one. Now, I know the next one, we're not going to talk about now. We're going to talk about it next week. Because we've got some other stuff that we're going to have a quick conversation around. The other game that we have for next week is called Zenith, which is one of your finds.
It's such a good game.
The beginning of this game, now I've only played a little bit. The beginning of this game, yes, it's shaping up. It looks like it's a mutant half-breed between Monty Python's 13-year-old wet dream and something else. It's really quite bizarre, but it certainly starts on a high note.
Oh my god, it's so good.
No pun intended for anyone else who has played that beginning bit, but
the people who developed it clearly wanted to create a game that they want to have a good time with. That's what this game is.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
It just feels fun and funny.
I've only played the first, maybe 20 minutes of it, and I loved every second.
I can also see that there are a lot of people from a game's point of view, and I'm talking about there's people that they're hunched in a chair and they've been sweating for weeks and they weigh 800 kilos and all they play is Call of Duty. I'm not picking on Call of Duty players, but I'm picking on Call of Duty players.
It's because they're terrible people.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I know which Call of Duty.
Anything past Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, terrible.
Anything
people. Terrible.
Past that.
Have you ever met them? You ever met these people?
No, they never come outside. No,
they should be in jail. We should have a better justice system.
Wow, we've gone hard on these. What about the Battlefield people? What's your opinion on them? Because there's usually two camps. You got the Call of Duty people and you got the Battlefield people. Now you got the Overwatch people, and then in the corner, in the dark corner, you've got the Overwatch people that bought it on console, and they're like, what?
Yeah. See, the Overwatch people seem to be the same people as the Battlefield people. I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I still haven't played that yet.
Overwatch?
Yeah.
Great game.
I know. I've heard good things. Okay, from a multiplayer shooter point of view, I've heard it's a really good game.
It is a multiplayer shooter.
That's
game.
just what I mean. But in terms of, shut up.
That's like saying from an orange point of view, this orange is a good orange.
God damn it. No, I'm just saying it's from the point of view of the freaking thing. You know the thing with all the stuff. The point of view of the bloody FP. Get the fuck out.
Every time I hear an Irish accent now, I think of Katy Perry and her exploding vagina.
Okay, I think the people listening, there's a chance the people listening need some level of definition around what the hell you're talking about.
Okay. So it's nothing to do with Irish accents, except that we were mocking.
A segue here.
For some reason, we started mocking Katy Perry with Irish accents, but well, actually, not even mocking her.
I just break out into an Irish accent.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's heritage or just that I get angry quite often.
Yeah, no. It was that new movie Sing that's coming out. One of the songs in the trailer is the Katy Perry song Firework, and. My 5-year-old daughter, heard the song, and so I showed her the video clip, which I'd never seen. And I don't know if you've ever seen the video clip.
I haven't watched it, but I'm morbidly curious about this video.
Yeah, so
you described
it's a typical kind of Katy Perry kind of video clip. But when you watch it, she's singing on top of a building, like looking out to the city. Like she's singing out to the city, and then spontaneously, she just seems to explode in fireworks. which is fine. But the immediate thought I had was, oh, her vagina's exploded. It's fireworks.
So is this actually the point of... What is that? The point of the epicenter? I don't know. What's the word for where fireworks come? If anyone knows, please hit us up on our Facebook or Twitter if anyone knows what the word is for the bit where all the fireworks come out so we can actually properly phrase this.
Vagina.
Obviously.
Vagina works.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. Games.
What's
Something
this
to do with
podcast
games.
about?
I don't know.
Why am I here? I don't know. Fuck it. Something about games. Bloody. I honestly don't know. We've been derailed that much. No Man's Sky got in there. It's that Call of Duty players. Going back through my head.
Terrible people.
Terrible
better
people.
justice system. Battlefield, Overwatch, good. Call of Duty, bad.
Why don't we just put that bit on the cop? Do we need the whole podcast? And just trim
I don't
down
know,
to
but I think we've probably pissed off enough people with that anyway.
Yeah,
That's a good way to separate
probably,
separate the audience.
Excellent. First week. Best tactic first week is to completely, get rid of your entire audience. So some of the other things have been interesting because I've been noting down stuff that has been happening around the gaming industry. And one of the things I wanted to bring up as a small discussion point before I get onto one of the final little things that was interesting is it was around the subject of game reboots. And I've heard others talk about this. Now, this is not... Like, you've got stuff coming out at the moment. You've got Doom that came out. I quite enjoyed that. That was quite good. It's the second reboot of Doom.
I didn't like it.
The FPS one? You only played the multiplayer beta, though, I think.
Yeah.
I was... The single-player campaign that I
really
played, I actually quite liked it.
Okay.
It was very original Doom. It was very fast-paced. It felt a bit Quake 3 arena-ish in places. There were a lot of rooms where you just got locked in with a bunch of monsters, but it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. It's not one... It does not have a stunning plot. It certainly launches you into the action. You literally, 2 seconds into the game, there's a guy coming at you that you need to shoot.
Yeah, see, in fairness, I got really excited about this game and built it up in my mind to be something amazing, and then I downloaded it, and then I played it, and I was like, oh, this again. It's the same old thing. And
so you basically did what everyone that bought No Man's Sky did right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But then I walked out and I said to my wife, I'm really disappointed because you just jump in and straight away people are shooting at you, you're shooting them back, and it's nothing new.
It's unreal. It's Quake 3.
And then,
but I don't see.
But
I don't
then
play
my wife
things
said,
from a multiplayer point of view too. So I have.
See, admittedly though, my wife said, "Oh, what was the original Doom like?"
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good point. So I don't know what I was expecting exactly.
But it's interesting. It's one of the things that Hollywood's done it to death. They've been rebooting movies for the past 25, 30 years. Gaming has only really had enough of a back catalogue to start doing it within the past 5 or 10 years. The Ratchet and Clank reboot I played on PS4, I love that. I bought that.
Oh, yeah.
I got that for my birthday, and everyone says, for Christmas, sorry. And everyone said, your daughter got Ratchet and Clank for Christmas. Like, no, fuck off, it's mine. And then I played it, and then my daughter got to pick up the...
There's a movie coming out. Ratchet and Clank movie.
Oh, I think it's already out.
Oh, it's already out?
It's been out in the States for ages. Don't know if it's hit here.
I can probably get here in a couple
Remember,
of years.
we're a third world entertainment company. We get things eventually. Surprised we ever got Netflix.
Just on a side note, I actually have a funny story about Doom 3. So when Doom 3 first came out, I played that. I think maybe that's what I was expecting the new Doom to be.
I liked that, but for different reasons.
Well, see, Doom 3 I found pretty scary. And I still remember I was still living at home.
Question, have you ever played an Oculus?
Which one's Oculus?
Oculus Rift.
No.
The VR.
Oh, no,
I've got that at home. Between that and Alien Isolation, I am never sleeping again.
Oh, right.
For the rest of my life.
No, see, my game on that is Fear.
Fuck that.
Okay, the first season,
Dude,
the first episode of Fear, when you walk around the store and they hit you in the face with a bat, every time I go to play it, I start playing, get to the scene, I'm out, uninstall, and I uninstall it. I don't even I don't even just close the game. I uninstall it every time.
Rage, the most effective rage quit in the world.
Yeah.
Well, when I was playing Alien Isolation on the DK2 Oculus, I was in my little nook room at home, had it on, and my wife was apparently walking past outside, and in that game, I don't know if you played that game. One of the great ways that you die is you'll just be walking down, and the alien will just go and come out of a vent and grab you and pull your head towards its face and go and kill you.
Right.
So once you've experienced that with a virtual reality helmet on, wow. I had that happen, and then I just calmly put it on the desk, stood up, and walked out of the house and went to the shops. And my wife asked me, what happened? I went, I'm never going near my computer ever again. I don't want to ever see that again.
Well, anyway, Doom 3, right? I still remember I was playing it. I was still living at home at the time with my parents. And it was, I don't know, 2 in the morning, I think. 2 or 3 in the morning. So
great time to play it.
Yeah, middle of the night. And had the headphones on. It was put it this way, back when I was only using one monitor. That's how long ago this was, right? Yeah, I know. So, you know the point where you start getting monsters. It's quite early on in the game, and the demons basically start just flying out of nowhere at you.
Oh, the heads.
And then all the power suddenly goes out.
Yeah.
And everything just goes black. I didn't know, but my dad was behind me watching me play this game. So as soon as all the lights went out, all I saw was the reflection of his face in my monitor, and I freaked the fuck out, and basically ripped the keyboard like it was a wireless keyboard, and ripped it away from the desk, and almost killed Dad with the keyboard because I was just freaking out. What are you doing?
That is beautiful. Your dad was essentially trolling you in the back.
Yeah. See, I don't think he never came in our room after that. Or not at night, anyway.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That kid's fucking insane. A good friend of mine who may be listening to this podcast, when he used to play games as a teenager, his parents went through 4 different doors for his bedroom because every now and then he'd be on IRC or chatting to someone would aggravate him or a game would aggravate him. And usually when a game aggravated him, he'd snap his keyboard in half. He was a big guy. And he's very strong. But whenever he got really irritated by someone on IRC, he put his fist through his door, which was right next to his chair. So by the end of it, the most recent time it happened was like, crunch! And a fist would go into the living room and his parents would just look over to the right and see a fist coming through the door. And they'd be like, do we need to get another door? And there'd be this fuck coming from them. But that guy could rage quit in ways I've never seen. He's a great guy. He's a really awesome guy, and some of those the game rages I saw were beautiful.
Yeah, see, I know 2 people that are kind of like that. One you've met. You know.
Oh, I know who that is.
I know who you are.
Is he huggable
He's
a puppy?
Huggable.
Yeah.
You should give him a hug every time you see him. Give him a hug.
I will.
Yeah,
I will.
That's
great.
The other guy stopped playing games because he used to rage so much. This was League of Legends.
He rage quit. Oh gosh.
He just stopped
fair
playing.
enough.
And I've never.
That's because League of Legends is okay. It's not as bad as Dota, but my experience with both of those games, because I enjoy them.
Dota's worse.
Every time I go into them, it's okay, I'm going to casually sit down, I'll have a game of League of Legends. And I go in there, and the second I get in the game, I'll be standing still going, what should I do for 3 seconds? And suddenly someone's on the mic going, what are you doing, you fucking I'm going, Jesus, what's your problem, man? He goes, fuck you, get in there. So I walk in, and he's like, no, that's where I fucking am. And it's a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
My God, go back to bed.
That's Dota.
There's a bit of overlap on
those exact words
now.
that you just read, that you just said then.
Was that an exact experience?
No, if Dota was a retail box, that'd be written on the back.
Well, I think the Dota retail box it's just a whole bunch of words that would be filtered out by a profanity filter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just wall to wall on the back.
Yeah,
of it.
it's all black, and people think that it's just a black cover. It's not.
Yeah,
it's all
it's all tiny
censored.
little text with all over the place. So that's Dota to a T, but I was talking about reboots originally back there. Now one of the things that came out of the news this week, amongst all of these other different game reboots that are being redeveloped, Yeah, actually no, there's been some reboots rebooted. So one of the ones that I saw is it's not a reboot. It's a 20th anniversary edition? It's an anniversary edition of Duke Nukem 3D that is being re-released.
But didn't that already got re-released, didn't it?
They remade it. They made a new one. Gearbox made a new one. I was at Manabar for the launch party.
Yeah, so which one are they re-releasing then?
They're re-releasing Duke Nukem 3D. It was 1995, 1996 one, the original. They've updated the engine and some lighting and stuff like that because by all means that was a pretty fun game.
Isn't that what they did with the remake though?
No, that was a totally new game, totally new. I'm gonna say plot here, but it's loosely used the word plot.
Yeah.
And the thing was, even with that game, it was executed fairly well. There was a lot of boring driving scenes, which I could have done without. Majority of the game was pretty good. However, humor nowadays does not translate to humor as it was in 1990 whatever.
No.
And that is the early stuff I'm hearing about this re-release, which has new levels and I think a new campaign, is the same thing. It's like the game's been updated. It actually feels really good. It plays well. The gun plays good. It's all really good. But the jokes, like you'll be playing and you'll just feel kind of like you're a bad person.
Well, let's be honest. The original Duke Nukem, it was made for 12-year-old boys.
It was.
So it was 12.
And it was made to actually poke fun at the kind of masculine, sexist movies and stuff of the late 80s, early 90s, where you had like the still I'm going to come down and rip your fucking head off, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they were aiming at that target, but those aren't really around anymore.
No.
I don't know what it would look like if it came out today. What we'd have, like hipsters, hipster Nukem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just don't think it
It's big
works
game
anymore.
where you walk down a street between a bunch of vegan bars and you need to steal drinks that are in jars or something.
Yeah, that just annoy the hipsters though. And the hipsters.
Oh, well, you don't want to annoy them. They're dangerous.
The hipsters are the one doing all the game reviews.
That's exactly it. I know a guy that classifies himself as a reactive hipster, so he's not a hipster because hipster became popular. It's like the second something's popular, he goes, "No, I hate it."
So he's a reactive hipster.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I said. It's literally what I said. Word for word. I can appreciate that. Because most of the things that I've never seen, like movies and stuff, have been because they've gotten so much hype. I've gone, right, fuck it. Or one of my friends was like, oh, you have to see this. You have to play it. You have to play it, see it, play it. It nearly put me off The Last of Us on PlayStation. And I'm so glad it didn't.
You know
what?
what?
It's one of the best games
When someone says to me, you have to play this, my immediate reaction is, you can't tell me what to do, and then I don't. So unfortunately, as a result, I haven't played any of the Fallout series. I haven't played Dead Space series, or Witcher. I haven't played any of these big series because I always hear it. Oh, you have to play it. You can't tell me what to do. I'm my own man.
Witcher, yes. I wasn't that much of a fan of one of them. I can't remember which one it was. I liked the most recent one.
Shut up, Siri. No one's talking to you.
What's Siri want?
I don't know. She just said, I thought so.
Skynet. The machines have taken over. She just wants in on the podcast, man. She wants, I don't know, she wants to get her voice heard in the audience of 7. Gone up 4 in the past hours. Yeah. But, there's some good ones. Dead Space, don't play that with the lights off and the headphones
on. Is Dead
on.
Space supposed to be a camera that sits literally inside your ear?
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
It improves.
Yeah.
Dead Space 3 got picked on. I actually really liked.
That always annoyed me, like the camera angle. And I, for a long time, I assumed, there's something wrong with my computer.
No.
And it wasn't scaling out or something.
No, that's was that inside your? No, it's behind you.
Yeah, it's like right on your ear. It's like right over your shoulder.
No.
Okay, so maybe it was something wrong with my computer.
That might be something wrong with your computer. You should have that seen to. But it's I have games like that ruined for me quite often because you have to play it. Fallout is an interesting one. We can talk about that another. I think we'll have a panel about Fallout
I haven't played any of the Fallout series.
Okay.
Well, okay, hang on. No, that's not true. I did play one of them most of the way through. The one on the iPad, how you build the bug.
Okay, Fallout Shelter. It's different. Fallout I have mixed emotions about Fallout. I get so excited about them, and my memories of playing Fallout are always really good. But when I go back to playing it, I always go, "Oh, there's lots of grey." In fact, I nearly had a mental breakdown when I first played it because I played it for 17 hours and only then realized that you can fast travel between places you've been, and I was literally walking everywhere. So, walk from one side of the map to the other, and they go, "No, you need to go back." And I'm like, "You fucking asshole. Take it yourself. I don't want it." But, yeah. And then I got picked on for a while, which is fantastic. So, one of the things I wanted to put out there, in terms of the reboot thing, what I fear is gaming industry, not culture. Developers are going down that horrible track of just regurgitating stuff that's been made and taking a cue from Hollywood, which is one of the reasons why this podcast exists, because there are a lot of really good indie games developers that have unique ideas. The best games I've ever played have been indie, and there are a lot in Brisbane Like you look at some of the studios that have come out of Australia, like Half Brick and things like that. There's great ones. The guys years ago back at Oran that did Dark Rain and a string of games.
Oh my god, yeah, one of the best games ever.
Fantastic games here. Very little support from government. Very little support from large organisation. Very little spotlight on them.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's the event that's going on at QUT.
This weekend there's an event going on, 48-hour gaming jam. I didn't know about it.
Nobody did.
No. It was published in the Brisbane Independent Game Developers Forum. I haven't seen it anywhere else, unfortunately. Then again, I don't read the news or watch television or anything like that because I'm some kind of weird mutant hermit creature. But still, not many people. More exposure for events like that. I'm going to be going along to that on Sunday. So I'm getting some interviews with some of the developers there. I know you're not. You're running your game.
We've got D&D.
Exactly.
That's where all the cool people are. And if they're not here, they're at a independent gaming.
Oh, there you go. Now, to round up the show for today, because I think we've babbled on enough, just in discussion, a quick overview, some of the next few weeks, some people we've got coming in. One of them, I'm not going to mention them yet, coming up. We've got a tabletop game developer that we're going to go through and have a chat with. We're also going to have, after that, probably not a live stream, but a pre-recorded playthrough of tabletop game, which is coming out. I believe it's out. There's a Kickstarter campaign up for it, which we're going to link on the next podcast. We've got some industry people over the next 3 weeks. We're basically going to try and have a new guest in each week. We have a lot of guests. I'm trying to figure out how we align them and how we do it. We've got midway through the show, I'll call it the season, we're going to have a Women in Gaming spotlight on that. Because there are some of the most brilliant gaming developers that I've seen come out of Brisbane, and there's a couple I'm thinking of straight away. We're going to have a chat with, and they have done some phenomenal work. And that's, once again, once you get to an unsupported industry like indie gaming, and then you drill that down to there is still a culture there which is not necessarily supportive towards women in that industry. They're viewed a certain way, and it's
don't know that women are ever actually encouraged to do things like game development. I mean,
that's what I mean. There are some places that do, but then not generally given those opportunities, or it's not something that's seen as, I'm not going to say socially acceptable because we're past that, but it's not seen as something that's really promoted.
I think I think people just don't think to do it, but at the same time,
let's face it, and as well as the thing is, you've also got the factor that like they have to work with male game developers, and we're disgusting.
Yeah, nobody wants to work with male developers, but see when you consider that the vast majority of casual gamers, like mobile gamers, are women. Why the hell are women not developing most of the games?
I know. Well, there are a lot. More than you would think are actually there when you actually dig into it. But it's one of those things that I think it's just
you just don't know about
assumption or something. It's not focused on. And so we're gonna have a longer length show on that than usual. This being our first show, we have run a bit on over what we were going to run. We're going to do 30 minutes. We're at around an hour.
Yeah, that's completely unusual for us to just babble on about crap.
Don't give a fuck. Screw it. Don't know what that was. Just a little.
So we're not cutting any of it out.
No, of course not.
Yeah, you have to hear it.
It's all obviously.
It's all gold. It is gold.
It is.
This is just. It's gaming gold.
It's stuff that people need to hear of. Millions of years from now, aliens will discover our culture. We'll all be dead, and they'll find this podcast
who's Katy
and then
Perry?
go. We need to find out more about this Katy Perry woman. Then to round up the show, one of the things that we're going to do along the end of it is a couple of things. One of them is a kind of a grab of some of the cheapy little games on Steam. There are games on Steam, and there are games on things like Good Old Game Stuff that are around the 50 to 75 cent mark. So there's no loss when you buy them. Now I have to tell you, because you're aware of the game I'm about to bring up.
Oh yeah.
I bought Turbo Pug 3D.
Oh my god, so good.
I have never seen a pug dog die that many times in my life. You've played it, have you?
Yeah.
I thought you might have run out and got it when I mentioned
game.
it. It's
well, it's not the best game, but
once again, I think it would work brilliantly as a mobile game. Not where if it is.
No, that's a game. Actually, you know what? That game is 10 years too late. Because that is a game that
it's Crossy Road with pug dogs on and jumping and
that's a game you play at a LAN. That's a game you
It's
play at a
not
LAN.
multiplayer. Unless you're that guy at a LAN that sits in the corner and watches anime and plays only single-player games. You know who you are. I know you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, Michael.
But you were close. You were close.
No. But no, that's a game that you play and then everyone just has lots of fun to it. Remember, I can't remember the name. It's like T-Rex on a treadmill or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of game, and you end up playing it for an hour with your friends. It's not a. It's not a a game you play all day.
No, I can definitely say that it's the one. Okay, it's the one everyone at the LAN plays while they're waiting for like the guys that went out to get food to come back.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, it is. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's incredibly simple. It's an infinite runner. So, but yeah, it's a pug dog. It's a pug dog jumping over shit.
Yeah.
And for the price tag, you can't go wrong. So we're gonna take a look at some of those, just so anyone that's out there, pick it up. You might only play it for 5 minutes, but fuck it, it's 50 cents. Who cares?
It's one of those games, like it's that you end up with a list of games on Steam that makes you wish that you could delete games from Steam, which I don't think it's possible, is it?
I'm up to like 450, 500 or something now.
Yeah,
apparently, there's a way to trade them. I think there was.
Oh,
maybe.
really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they probably shut it down because people would log in and like illegally transfer all the games out. Now, I know you've been really excited about this. I haven't actually told you yet. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to pick some of the things that are right at the bottom of Steam, find the things that have the lowest reviews, and we're going to have a look at those.
That will be my time to shine.
It will, because the first thing we're going to do, and I have it already for us, is the one I mentioned with the little demonic midget creature guys in raincoats attacking. It's the one I told you about the other day. I cannot remember the title of it.
No, but see, you make me want to play this game.
I have never seen reviews that bad.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of bad reviews. I saw a review of a guy that said he basically had a rant for about 5 minutes about a game, and he told a story about his parents and how his dad was like, he wasn't close to him, and then when he was on his deathbed, he went and talked to him. His dad had died from, horrific lung cancer and stuff like that, and he goes, so I've avoided smoking all my life, and he ran it up, I wish I'd just smoked now because this game gave me cancer. I'm thinking, wow, and there's like 2 pages of that review.
No, but see, you're talking to someone who got excited about Sharknado. My wife and I actively go out and we just looked for any movies we could find that starred Lou Diamond Phillips. Gold.
Yeah,
absolute gold.
You've got basically a mine of splendid movies there to watch. Oh wow.
Yeah. You ever seen the one with the giant crocodile that
No,
it's so big it snatches a plane out of midair.
Have you seen the one? Have you seen I believe it's an Indian film, and it's
the
like
weird robot guy?
Yeah, the weird robot guy. Yeah, okay, we will be reviewing that on the show. I will find what it is. We're going to watch that.
Yeah. We
We
should do a minute-by-minute podcast on that movie.
A live podcast?
A live podcast.
Okay, we'll be doing a live stream watching that movie. We also have coming up towards the end of the season, we do have a live panel that's coming in for I'm not going to say celebrity, but they are people that listeners will know in different capacities to a large round game of Cards Against Humanity on the air.
Clint Eastwood's coming in.
Yeah, of course. Clint Eastwood. Well, we got Clint Eastwood. We got Sylvester Stallone. We got Adam Sandler for some reason. Yeah. We've got like a whole bunch of people coming in.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be the biggest show ever. We've booked out Madison Square Garden. We're flying overseas. We have.
It's gonna be a good weekend.
You know Elvis?
Yeah, Elvis
He's
is
not
there.
dead.
Yeah.
We got him, so he's gonna be there as well. He's gonna be. We've gone too far. So, to round up, in summary, you've got your. Wow, I'll just break the microphone at the moment. You've got your gaming thing coming up on Sunday. So anyone out there that's not following Dutch Potato Gaming, check them out. Dutch Potato Gaming.
There is one ticket
Facebook.
left. Hang on, let me just confirm that. There is one ticket left for that.
So if anyone wants the final ticket to that event, go to Dutch Potato Gaming on Facebook.
And anyone listening to this, we will not be selling tickets at the door. We are now at capacity.
Exactly. And we'll when we post the podcast, we'll include the links underneath it to these things so everyone can check them out.
Yep. So so coming up, so we've got the Sunday event, which is sold out almost. One ticket left. Then we've got the couch event, which is next Thursday, which is also sold out. Next Tuesday, we're playing at Ace Comics. So
Anyone wants to get along to Ace Comics next Tuesday night? What time?
Yes. Any time from about 5:30 onwards, someone
Excellent.
is usually there. We start playing at 6. You don't need a character. You can just turn up and play.
You'll
It's
just roll a character.
very newbie friendly. It's a fantastic group.
Excellent. Well, we'll get off. That rounds us out for our episode 1. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I can see in your eye you're looking forward to going home and playing Zenith some more, so you can start taking
really
notes
want to.
on that.
I'm just going to get tennis spiders.
Dear God. Dear God. Okay, so you'll all hear from us next week. So that is bye from Cue Ball.
And bye from Puck.